Hi, this video is going to walk through how to structure a schedule for Be Good People instruction for middle schools, 6 through 8, or high schools. And the reason why I'm starting here on the main Be Good People webpage is I want to talk about these three ingredients, these three categories of materials, and those are going to come up as I talk about how buildings typically structure their schedules. So, lessons. That is let's click on this. This is an example middle school lesson. So you can see it's structured. It kind of basically is talking about like why this is important, why this skill or topic is important, some ideas and reflection of how to do it, and then application. So of the three ingredients, this is the most rigorous, the most structured for middle, and then especially high school. It's not particularly structured. It's just meant to encourage reflection and just have a meaningful conversation is what we like to say, but it's the most rigorous and structured one. Extension activities are very popular for middle and high school, and this is an example middle school one. The most popular version of this is going to be videos broken into small chunks, broken up by discussion questions. So I would say of the three, this is the most popular, certainly of the middle and high schools I work with. The most number of weeks on their schedule are going to be these extension activities. And then community building. So would you rather or icebreakers broken in, or games, broken into 4-question packs, generally speaking. So now that we know kind of what those three things are, lessons, extension activities, community building, we're going to talk about how a typical middle or high school is going to structure their schedule. And I'm going to click on 6 through 8, and these are all the materials for perusal. But what we have at the top here, if you're a leadership team planning how you're going to implement this, we have this link for Make It Happen, which takes you to just implementation resources. So it's a little bit meta right now because I'm filming a video that is going to go on here. But we have videos for teacher training. You may use these to train a big group of teachers when you're first getting this off the ground. From there on, you might, as like new teacher mentoring, have teachers watch the video. Planning your instructional sequence, that's where I'm updating this video. And then other resources like student communication. We really recommend that, especially the first year you doing this, you put some kind of slideshow early on that's like, why do we do this? And teachers have helped me formulate this one, and it's really tied to career and college readiness and employability skills. So it's making that connection between all these SEL skills, teamwork, communication that we're learning about are really important to your employability and your success in the 21st century workplace, where these skills are incredibly valuable. So I would recommend that your leadership team put that early in the year before you really get into any content. And of course you can copy and customize that. And then there's a student handout, which if you watch there's an explanation there, but if you watch the video about teacher training, it's going to walk through kind of where that student handout comes into play. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into this example schedule. So this is the same spreadsheet for all grade levels. So it's going to open on K, but I'm going to go over to 6th grade. So you're going to notice like 4th grade, all these elementaries, they look very different from 6th, 7th, and 8th and on up. Where the elementaries typically have more instructional time, they often have instructional time every day, like a morning meeting every day or a class connect every day. And they will do, a lesson over a couple of days, and then extension activities like videos, read aloud, books and stuff on the other days of the week. Middle and high schools, like I said, typically have 1 or 2 days during their advisory where they do this instruction. And what that adds to is usually like about 20 minutes a week of this instruction. So not a lot of instructional time. So instead of doing a lesson on a Monday or Tuesday and then other stuff every other day of the week, like an elementary might, your middle or high school is going to rotate between those things that I talked about. It's going to rotate between the three ingredients I was talking about. So teacher feedback has led this. Teacher feedback, I can't take credit for it, has led to this idea that it's going to be most engaging for students if we change things up a little bit week to week. So we might do a lesson this week. Let's open that up to get another look at lessons. So we might do a lesson, which is more rigorous and structured, followed by some community building. And you could do it the middle and high schools I work with do this two different ways for community building. Some of them will just like this, say community building, pick one or do your own thing. So if you're working in a school that did this, you'd click this, and me as a teacher, I might ask my class, like, which one do we want to do? And some teachers really, like their groups really like that. Look, kids will call out a number and they do that, or they have a student pick one. Or I could like bring in a board game or plan my own thing. The way that this is nice is like there's always something there for a teacher who doesn't want to plan something, but there's the flexibility for teachers who really want to play a game they found online, like a song challenge or something. Not every teacher in the building would be comfortable doing it, but this teacher and her group really like it. You know, the point is to build community and relationships. So, or you could link folks to specific ones. So in some buildings I work with, instead of that community building, it would say icebreaker pack number 34, and it just teachers open right to pack number 34. So just, you know, choices you can make about how much structure you want there to be and how much flexibility you want there to be. And then here's an extension activity. So like I was saying, we'll just rotate between these formats of activities, and teachers of students have said that's what they prefer. A column here about printing is a good idea, because if you have one or two people or maybe a grade level or department lead tasks with doing the printing, it's just good to have a heads up about that. And the last thing I'll say, well, two more things. One is that this is completely customizable. You know, these are examples that we've laid out, but certainly they can be copied and customized. The other thing is if you have grouped advisories, so if you have all your middle school students together, you know, you might have a 6th grader and an 8th grader in the same advisory, is what I'm saying, or a sophomore and a senior in the same advisory. If your schedule works like that, for the 2022 through 23 school year, the one I'm heading into right now, I might have just a middle school tab and a high school tab. So all the middle schoolers are getting the same sequence, all the high schoolers are getting the same sequence. And if you do it that way, you just have to rotate. So instead of doing 9th graders get this 9th grade topic sequence, 10th graders get this topic sequence, and then repeat that every year, you would do everybody gets this sequence, all the high schoolers get this 9th grade sequence this year, and then the following year we just rotate to this one, the following year we rotate to this one, following year we rotate to this one, and then on our 5th year we're back at this one. So students never get the same thing 2 years in a row. And you might ask, well, isn't that inappropriate for the 9th graders to be getting 12th grade topics? Well, I mean, they're in the same grade band, so we're talking about the same SEL benchmarks. But yeah, when push comes to shove, like we did pick things for this 12th grade sequence that were particularly work focused, that were going to be particularly relevant for seniors in high school. So if you have any flexibility to, you know, one high school I work with has a 9th and 10th grade sequence and then an 11th and 12th grade sequence. So it's not, you know, it's not quote unquote perfect, but with whatever flexibility they have made it so that their upperclassmen have a 2-year rotation of topics that are more work focused. So, I mean, that helps, obviously. I mean, if you've worked in a high school or middle school, you know there's big maturity changes and things they can relate to change from being a 9th grader to a 12th grader. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's about all I had to say about these example schedules. Again, they're completely customizable. And I hope you enjoyed this video and that it's useful to your planning for your school-wide instruction. And have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time.